Okay, so let us start. So I've received a lot of questions. I think I at least had around 5 to 6 DMs asking about Narendra Modi and his use of numerology. I'll talk about that, and then maybe I'll also talk about karma, children, and then whatever questions you people have, we can also discuss that. But I think let's start about numerology. I think over the last few days, we have seen a lot of people talk about how Narendra Modi has not used the right time, the right date for the inauguration of the new parliament. I think what most people don't understand is that they are looking everything from the perspective of astrology, whereas Modi uses numerology way more than what people realize. Like for example, Modi was born on 17th September. So 17th 1 plus 7 adds up to 8. So he's ruled by number 8. And the day he took the oath as a prime minister was an 8. And the demonetization was announced on 8. And then the 8th strike that he did against the Pakistan was done on a 8th day. So basically uses numerology. Like if I have to explain that a little detail, so Modi is born on 17/8. 8 is the number of money, and then the demonetization. Um, the demonetization is related to finances, and money and finances are ruled by 8. And he announced the demonetization on a 8th day. And then 8 also represents karma. 8 also represents, taking revenge. So the Balakot 8th strike was the revenge that was taken against the Pakistan, and that was also done on the 8th day. And Modi, he's born on the 8th, the number of money, and he took the swearing in. He became the prime minister on the 8th day. Since then, India's GDP has skyrocketed. So basically, there's a lot of things I don't want to get into now. But I think people don't realize that he is using numerology and not just astrology. Once you start looking at it from the perspective of numerology, only then you realize why it chooses certain dates. Okay, so it's very important to understand what exactly is being used. Only then you can judge if it's the right day that is chosen or if it's the wrong date. So if he's been using numerology all along, and if you try to judge what he's trying to do using astrology, it's not going to work out. Like even the most, the most I would say the most recent one would be the Supreme Court verdict of the Ayodhya dispute. So it happened on a 9 day. Why is that? Because it was a long pending verdict, and it didn't want that to change anymore. So it happened on a 9 day because 9 is the number of completion. So something that has been pending for decades came to an end on a 9 day. So all these are not coincidences, and if you try understanding this from the perspective of astrology, get, you don't understand why that's the best date. Of course, there would be certain correlations. You would have to see what placements. You'll have to look into moon, sun, and all of these things. But again, you'll have to see what is given more priority, and then you understand, where he's coming from. I think that is something that a lot of people on Twitter are missing out. So everybody is trying to judge things based on astrology, and things are not adding up. So that is one thing. And then I was tagged, to a particular video. So there I heard a lady talking about how having no children means the person can get enlightened, can move to a different realm. Well, that's a joke. Your soul is not just tied to your children. Like you're born on this planet because you have some karma with your parents from your past life. You choose a particular family, specific parents, particular environment. You were born in a particular place because you have karmic ties with that particular place, family, everything, right? It's not only your children who are based on your karma, it's your parents, your wife, your enemies, your friends, everybody. Like each and every soul you encounter on this lifetime, they have one or the other karmic ties with your past. Okay, and not everybody, like each and everyone, like if you have a fight with someone today, then there is definitely some karmic ties with that person from previous lifetime. Probably soon after the fight, and if you don't meet that person, it could mean that probably the ties, whatever karma that was pending, has been resolved. So if you think that, just the children that you have is based on your passive karma, that's wrong. The person does not understand karma. So each and everything that you do, each and every person in your life is based on your karma. The biggest karma is, choosing your parents. Like you would have, I don't want to get into the depth of karmic theory. Basically, it's like having 100 different karmas, and for that particular lifetime, you choose two or three different karmas to be resolved, and you find the parents, the environment, the birthplace that fits in to resolve that particular karma, and then you take birth. So it's a very complicated theory. You don't get to decide, if you get another birth and not just based on your children. It's something going. It just comes up if you don't understand the concept of karma. So people these days make videos just for the sake of making it. They just want to make some noise, and they just record some videos and post it, and they don't even listen back, trying to find out if it makes sense or not. So that's the thing. But yeah, I already have a few questions in my DMs, but I'll open up here, like I think one request. If any of you have if you have any of you have any questions, you can request to speak. So yes, Dragon 8, you have any question?
Hi, Ashwin. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I am one of your students.
Mhm.
Thank you. Um, and I do have a question. When I saw the title of your spaces regarding karma, so I'm a little bit older, and I know Saturn is big with karma. So I would like more information regarding the second Saturn return, um, and how I can, or anyone can, um, use that new energy, that new Saturn energy, um, to either remedy karma, enhance my karma. I know you can't really enhance your karma, but obviously avoid any negative karma. Um, and as an 8 life path, I'm pretty much all about karma. But really, my question is more related to um, the experiences of a second Saturn return.
Yes. See, I don't look at Saturn returns like other astrologers do.
Okay.
All the planets are definitely there to teach you karmic lessons. They teach in their own ways. But among these nine planets, Rahu, Ketu, that is the North Node, South Node, and Saturn are the most karmic planets. This is one thing. And second, the planets associated with your Saturn in the birth chart. Like let's say when you're born, Saturn is conjunct Venus and Saturn is conjunct Moon. Then, like just, without getting into the depth of like, what houses they rule and all of these things, I can just briefly say that you have some strong karma related to marriage, spouse, and mother. So basically, in this lifetime, you're supposed to resolve karmas with respect to marriage, with respect to partners, with respect to money, and with respect to your mother. And every 30 years, it's a chance that Saturn provides. It's like every, just a second, I've been getting too many requests. Let me through them. Yes. So, as I was explaining, the planets that are connected to Saturn in your birth chart shows what are your major karmas in this lifetime. So, every 30 years, Saturn is like a teacher or a supervisor who comes in and checks if you have learned your karma. If not, then it will give you troubles, problems, or either directly or indirectly to make you focus on that particular thing. Like, let's say, for example, you had a strong karmic ties, a bond with your current spouse from the past life. Maybe there is something that you have not done. Maybe from your, we'll get to know what exactly it is based on your birth chart, like based on which house it is placed, based on what degree it is placed. You'll know what exactly is that karma. Is that related to money, or is it related to some physical support, whatever it is. So basically, in that 30 years cycle, if you've not done it, if you have not fulfilled, if you have not resolved your karma, then it will bring in more problems, or either directly or indirectly, it will make sure that you focus on your marriage, you focus on your partner, you focus on your mother. So basically, either the first Saturn return or second Saturn return, it does not matter. All Saturn does is to check if the person has already tried to resolve the karma, has he learned his lesson, has he matured, has he grown up. If not, it will try to bring in impediments, it will try to bring in problems, it will try to, make sure you focus on that particular thing for the next cycle going forward. So all you have to do is find out what planets are associated with Saturn, and then you can realize what karmas you have in this lifetime. Just to give an overview for people here, when Saturn is conjunct Venus, then your strong karmas are with respect to the spouse, relationship in general, and Saturn conjunct Sun. Then you have some karma with respect to power, with respect to father, Saturn conjunct Moon. You have karmas with respect to your mother, emotions, Saturn conjunct Mars, karmas with respect to your siblings, and with respect to properties, and Saturn conjunct Jupiter. So you have some karmas with respect to children, with respect to your teachers, mentors, and probably like I think I've covered all the planets. Yeah, Saturn conjunct Mercury is with respect to karma, with respect to learning. So karma with respect to business. So each and every planet gives you particular karma, and by analyzing your Saturn's position, in which house, in which house it is placed, what planet it is conjunct with, in which nakshatra it is placed, you get to know what is your major karma. And every 30 years, Saturn tries to find out if you've learned your lessons. If not, then it will start giving you problems, or it will start, putting you in certain situations where you're forced to learn your lessons. So it doesn't matter which return it is, but you'll have to see what your natural chart, the birth chart says, and then based on that, you decide what exactly you're supposed to do. Okay,
Yep, that makes complete sense. And yeah, my chart is very mother focused, and this second Saturn return has refocused my energy on her because she's quite ill, and
right,
I know that because of the positioning of my Rahu and Ketu, mom is a priority. So
exactly,
I know I need to honor her. I need to keep her safe, secure, whatever it needs to be done. Um, so I don't have that negative karma come back on me. So I think of what I'm hearing from you is, and I that was just a fantastic explanation. Is learn your original, you know, what lessons you're here to be taught from your natal chart, um, and work those lessons. And if you don't work those lessons in another 30 years, uh, yeah, it's going to come back to you to say, "Are you
exactly. Your
sure? Are you
Saturn is
sure?"
like a supervisor, like it gives you some work,
Right,
and every 30 years it comes back and it checks. You've done your work, you've passed. If not, it'll again, put you in such situation. And
right.
one more thing, it's quite common to use the words like positive karma, negative karma. I would not use the negative karma in this context. Instead, I would say it's a pending karma. Okay. It's
Right.
some sort of an help, support, service that you're supposed to do in this lifetime, and it's pending. And once you do it, it gets resolved. Okay.
Yeah, I want to clear it for my next incarnation. I don't want to have to
Right.
come back and relearn that lesson.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So really, it's the tests that this matrix provides us. And it
Exactly.
allows us to learn what that test is. And hopefully, if you know what the test is, you have a better chance of quote unquote passing it. Cool. As always, Ashwin, much
Exactly.
appreciated.
You're welcome. Okay. So Tanmay, You have a question?
Yeah, hi Ashwin. Hi. I have one question about Chinese astrology.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
if you noticed, I'm born in 1994, the year of the dog. And
Mhm.
looking at some old tweets, people say that dog spelt backwards is God, and they say that dogs are the God spies or the Matrix spies. So, could you elaborate a little more about that?
See, I would like if I try to elaborate on that, I might end up talking advanced astrology, which I don't want to do. But I
Okay.
can give you an hint, like
Okay.
like let's say when you talk about a spy, a spy follows you like a shadow, right?
Right. Right.
It's like right next to you.
Right.
Why? Because the spine, right? The same thing, like when you talk about dogs, when you have a pet dog, it's right next to you always, right?
Right.
So that's a clue, but I don't want to go beyond that. I'll have to take up literology and advanced concepts, but that's the correlation. If you understand that, what God, what dog does, so when you think about a spy, what does he do? There are certain similarities, then you'll be able to understand, but I don't want to go beyond
Right, right. So you should treat dogs well, right? That's part of the thing.
that. See, in general, any animals you're supposed to treat well. It's just energy. It's not just humans. You're supposed to treat each and every animal well. And it's, from Vedic astrology perspective, each animal is ruled by a particular planet. And dogs and cats are ruled by Rahu and Ketu. These are strong karmic planets, and not treating them well would definitely cause you karmic problems,
Right.
especially during Rahu Mars transit. So that's important that you treat other animals or other creatures well. That's no matter what your sign is. But yeah, that's the correlation, I would say.
Okay. Got it. Got it. I have one more question.
Mm-hmm.
People talk about the age of Aquarius and how the water levels rise because of the age of Aquarius, and not
Right.
because that it's man-made. It's natural and or it's astrology based. So I just wanted to ask you, like, what does the future of India look that way? Like, which cities are going to be underwater and which will be the upcoming cities in India that will flourish in the next, say, 50 to 100 years, or, not just India, globally? Like, which cities do you think will be like the future cities to look at, in terms of moving or, in terms of investing in real estate with that regard?
See, first of all, I think I had a similar question. I didn't answer in my last pieces. Like the
Okay.
question was somewhat like this: we are in the age of Aquarius, so we say that okay, the water levels would rise. That's based on the symbolism of the sign of Aquarius. But we say that it's man-made, how they are related. See, nothing happens by chance. Nothing in this matrix happens like magic. Okay, it's all related. Like if something bad has to happen, it happens through humans' action. Like like if something bad has to happen, then humans might end up going to war, and that can cause a lot of deaths. So it does not happen by chance. So if the water levels are supposed to rise, then like whatever has to happen, it has to happen through humans. So I had this question. I think the person who asked this question, I also saw him in the spaces. So he was like, was this like we are responsible for whatever it is, like
Right.
whatever we are doing for resulting in the rise of water levels, because it has to happen through us. Even though if when we say that we are in the age of Aquarius, Aquarius represents AI, Aquarius represents artificial intelligence, AI represents robotics. So it's we humans who focus more towards artificial intelligence, try to improve that particular field and end up being ruled by them. So it all has to happen through humans. It does not happen by chance. So this
Right.
is
Right.
one thing. And then the second thing, I would say we have just entered the age of Aquarius. Right now, it's not possible to decide what's the right. See, again, there are two things. Like when you consider that, the water levels would rise. India, we all know that it's surrounded by water on three sides. So
Right,
definitely, investing in properties in coastal areas is not that good. But
right,
that's a very, very long term. I don't see any such problems happening like for next 100 years, 150 years for sure. Because according to my calculations, we have just entered the age of Aquarius. It is just starting. And if you want to see what's the right place to invest in, I don't think you'll have to consider Aquarius or the water levels for it. Because, I mean, hardly we live on this planet for like 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. And I don't think we'll see that to have a major impact. So it should be based on the country and based on what sign is good for you and those things, and who is the prime minister of a country or the
right,
president of a country. So it's going to change, and it's not going to be consistent. Like, you do this, you invest in this particular place or buy a real estate in this place, and in 50 years you'll be there. No, it all depends. So don't take the Aquarius or the water levels as a reference for deciding that.
right, right. So you're saying that at least for another 100 years, the coastal areas are protected.
Yes,
Okay,
I
and
definitely don't see any problems.
okay, okay.
We are just in the beginning of age of Aquarius, so no,
How long will the age of Aquarius last?
I don't know that. It depends on what things happen around us. Based on what I've seen, like the age of Pisces, or based on the age of religion, what I've seen, and the pace at which the technology is growing. There is no, again, like, there is no one specific number to say that, okay, it's 200 years of age of Pisces, 200 years of age of Aquarius. It's not like that. I feel that the interval changes. Each and every age is not the same, and I don't have the answer to say that, okay, it ends at 2100 or 2200. It just depends on various events. When certain major events happen, it would be a sign to show that we are moving into the age of Capricorn. But I would say, Aquarius is when there would be, I mean, tremendous growth in terms of AI, artificial intelligence, space exploration. Um, Capricorn, when we move to Capricorn, again, we would be in a state where people would lose freedom. We end up being slaves, probably not the same way the slavery happened before, but somehow we all become more controlled. I don't know, either through AI or elites, one way or the other. When we enter the age of Capricorn, I would say people would not have enough freedom. I think that would be one indication that we are moving into the age of Capricorn. So we'll have to go by the major events that happens, and then the lifestyle that we are living in, and what are the major trends in the society, what are people focused on. So that is when you get a clue that we are still in the age of Aquarius, or are we moving towards the age of Capricorn.
Okay, got it, got it. Thank you, Ashwin. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. So I think, yeah, I also had somebody asking me this, like when I tweeted about the age of Aquarius and the technology and all this, they asked me what date is age of Capricorn going to start? I mean, I can just speculate based on the research that I've done, based on the intervals, like for how many years the age of Pisces was active, with how many years age of Aries is active. I can just speculate. I mean, I can just give out an answer, but I'm not sure about it, so I don't want to say, this particular year it is going to change. It all, depending on um, how the society is moving, how fast we adapt, and also elites, the deep state, they mass, they program all of us, like the way society behaves is also dependent on how they program people. So there are a lot of variables in there. So it's not possible for anyone to say, the exact date when we would move into the age of Capricorn.
Right,
But one
got it.
thing for sure, once we enter the age of Capricorn, or as we enter the age of Capricorn, we would not have this much freedom. Um, we all would be controlled either by AI or either by elites in one way or the other, we would not have as much freedom as we are experiencing now. Because Aquarius is also the sign of freedom. So definitely, I would say compared to Pisces or compared to Capricorn, we would have the most amount of freedom in the sign of Aquarius.
Got it, got it. And I have one last question. When do you think the Matrix would reset next? Like, I know that every 12 years in the rat year, the Matrix resets, but on the long term time frame, like, when do you think the Matrix would do a reset next? Or if there would be like a new Matrix created to reset this entire thing?
I would think so. I mean, when you talk about a major reset, see, all these resets, what you see, like when we say that, okay, 2020, there was a reset. And see, anytime when such a thing could happen, it would be in multiples of 12. There are 12 zodiac signs.
Right,
And I have this concept called as calendar astrology, where, I try to correlate the zodiac signs to the calendar, and it has nothing to do with the placement. So with respect to that, anything that happens would be in cycles of 12 and 9, 108 and 120. So, we'll have to look at these cycles to find out when the next reset is going to be. But this reset is very small reset. I
right,
wouldn't
right,
say, like the matrix itself got reset. It's a very small reset. It's just to, like as I said, like if we are in the age of Aquarius and if we are moving very fast and if Matrix doesn't want us to go to the age of Capricorn very quickly, then it can bring a small reset. Now, probably change the path or delay certain things or probably, uh, you know, even like make things faster. For these things, Matrix might try to bring in some reset, but I don't expect any major resets as such to happen anytime soon.
right,
Again,
right,
all we do is just speculate. This is just based on my observation of what has happened over the last 200, 300 years. The major events that has happened. Are we suddenly seeing a shift from one age to another age? Based on these things, what I've seen, at least there has not been any such major event. So yeah, that's my
right, right. So I just wanted to add one more thing. Like, I don't want to mention too much because I'm also under an NDA. But 2000 years back, there was a major reset in the Matrix. So I just wanted to ask, like, do you think we are close to another reset, or there is no time frame for that? Like,
I don't think we are close to another reset because again I see everything in terms of cycles, what where we are going through. Like let's say you're ruling a particular country or you're in charge of a community. As long as the community, the society is moving the right direction, you don't bring any major reformation, right? You don't try
right,
to bring in major changes. So
right,
with what I see, the age of Aquarius and the major transits that I see, I think we are very much in alignment with it. So as long as we are in alignment with it, I don't think Matrix would try to, bring in some sort of a major reform or like a reset sort of a thing. So for me, what I see is that if we are not on the right track and if we are, changing things too much, that's when the Matrix would bring in reset. As long as we are on the right track, I don't see any major changes happening.
right. Got it. Thanks, Ashwin. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, Len, you have any question?
Is there any karma coming back to you if you do stuff on accident?
Can you repeat again? What was your question?
If you do stuff on an accident, can you hear me?
Yes.
If you do stuff on an accident, is there any karma coming back to you?
Okay. I've made a video on this. It's a pretty lengthy video about karma and intentions. I would say most of your karmas are based on intentions. So, I mean, if I understand your question correctly, it's like if you do anything wrong, as like without any intentions, unintentionally, if you do anything wrong, would you be affected by karma? That was your question, right? Or did I get it wrong?
Now you got it right.
Okay. Yeah, I've made a video on this. I talk about karma, intentions, and actions. So, just to answer your question in a line or two, I would say that intentions is what matters. If your intention is not bad, then I would say you would not be affected by karma much. Again, it's not like you would have zero effect. Yeah, I would say it's like, the intention is around 80% and action is around 20%. Like if you have done something, it has happened, right? Like it has been manifested in reality. You can't change it. So I would say because of
I
your
got another
intention,
question.
you can. Okay, yeah. So because of your intention, you can probably avoid 80% of the effects, but definitely you would have that 20-25% as a result of your action. Yeah. What is your question?
Why mostly fours and nines are gangsters?
Against what?
Why four life paths and nine life paths are mostly fours and nines are gangsters?
That's just your observation. I don't agree with that.
Alright. What about according to Chinese astrology? New Orleans was found in a dog year, right? And its enemy is coming in 2024. What's your thoughts on that?
So what is founded in dog year?
New Orleans, New
Sorry, I
Orleans,
don't get you.
New Orleans.
New Orleans. See, in general, any city, state, whatever place, if it goes through a opposite cycle, it's definitely not good for people living in there. That's a known fact. But what exactly happens would depend on a lot of other things, like who is the mayor of that particular place or who is the head of that state, and what are the numbers, numerology, and all these things would be necessary to find out what exactly would happen. But definitely, certain things would go wrong, like in terms of accidents, problems with respect to resources, and businesses there might not do well. So, like this, in each state, the effects could be different. So it depends on a lot of other things. When enemy year comes in, you can say that things would go wrong with confidence, but you can't say what exactly would go wrong because it depends on many other variables. Okay, fine. Then I think I approved at least 6 to 7 requests. I think the moment I approve, they get disconnected, they join back again, they ask for approval. Looks like an issue, but yeah, I think Priya, you have any question? The act of killing an animal,
Yeah,
taking a life, and then eating.
yeah.
Yes, but there is a specific thing that you can do to avoid karma to a major extent. But I don't want to talk about it here. It involves me disclosing certain things about astrology, which I only teach my students. But yes, there is a small amount of karma. It's again, it's not like the way people think. Like when you're killing an animal, you're harming a creature, you're bringing it pain. So and if you consume it, you end up taking that negative energy and you take that karma. No, it's not like that. It's a bit different. But like it's not just that. There are a lot of our day-to-day actions that brings in a lot of our negative karma that we don't even realize. Again, see, it's not only about harming something which has a soul and then having a karma for it. You get karma for a lot of other things. It need not mean that if you harm a soul only, then you get a karma. Karma is not restricted to this soul. Karma is much more wider than that. There are a lot of actions where you don't harm a soul and you don't even, I mean, something that you do privately without the knowledge or without affecting others, even that can hit back hard. So karma is not restricted to a soul. It's a very basic explanation. Harming someone, you bring in trouble and that will harm you back. That's the basic concept of karma. As I said, there's more to karma than this. And yeah, it's just one part of the explanation. It's as good as
So
saying
is
that
it
you
is
find
it
some
okay
people
to
harm
eat
you.
animals? because
Again,
people do it worldwide.
see, again, as I'm explaining it, it's not that straightforward. How do you kill the animals and what exactly is happening? All of these things matter. Like, for example, how do you think the ecology survives? Like, we have one wild animal killing another animal, consuming it, right? And you can't say
Mm.
that that is against the nature. So you'll have to consider a lot of other things. If you just restrict yourself to saying one living creature is being killed and that will cause you karma, I would say that's a very limited thinking. You'll have to think much beyond that. What is the purpose? What is the intention? And at a higher level, what exactly is happening? Because it's not possible for a lot of animals or a lot of creatures to survive without killing other animals. And you can't say that, okay, all lions would have a lot of negative karma because it keeps killing deer, right? And then you can't say that you can't compare the lions with humans because, we are not meant to do this, we have other options. No. I would say it's a very limited thinking, just restricting yourself to it. It's a very basic concept. We'll have to look much, you know, beyond that. So that's my answer to it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay. Is there one good number for all of us? Okay, this is a question in my DM. Okay, guys, am I not audible? I think I have received a couple of DMs stating that my voice is not audible, or if this, just let me know. Okay, so talking about numbers, there is no one good number or one good sign for everything. Every sign, every number has a pros and cons. Like, depending on what you want to do, you choose a particular number. Like, for example, the basic numerology. 8 is good for money, and 8 might not be good for certain things. So, depending on what exactly you're doing, you decide what's the right time for it. And there is no one good number. Like, even 28, 28 is the number of wealth. So, it doesn't mean that if you start things on a 28, everything will be good. No. So, there are certain things that can go bad when you do things on 28. And if you're born on 28th, you would certainly, definitely have certain negative things that would come in your life. So it's all about understanding the nature. It's all about understanding the yin and yang. Matrix is all about balance. So there is no one thing which is really good and one thing which is really bad. It's about balance. So it's about understanding what each number means and what exactly you're trying to achieve. And based on that, you choose what you're supposed to do. Like we have, I think if you're new to us, if you're new to numerology, you can just search for numbers, GG33. You'll find out some basic characteristics about numbers, traits. You'll know what to do when, like, there are certain dates you're not supposed to get married on. There are certain dates you're not supposed to exercise. There are certain dates you can have sex to have children. There are certain dates which are good for finances. But again, you'll have to know it. No number is superior. Every number has pros and cons. Of course, depending on what exactly you want to do, you can choose a particular number. Like nobody can influence others like a 33 can. But it doesn't mean that 33 is the best. Like when you want to become rich, when you want to make money, then obviously 28 would be your number. It depends on your priority. Like if you want to enlighten people, if you want to have an influence over others, then you would have to choose 33 over 28. But if you don't care about any of those things, if money is the only thing that you care about, then 28 would be your number. So it's about understanding the pros and cons, the strengths and weaknesses, positive and negatives of each number, and then deciding what exactly you're supposed to do. Okay, you can see somebody has raised their hand, but I don't see the name. E. Riley. Seems to be some problem with my spaces. But yeah, do you have any question?
Hey, yes, sir, my friend. Can you hear
Ah, I
me?
can see your name now. Yeah, yes.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. I just really wanted to take the time to like ask you about numbers. That really was my question. So my understanding as far as like my life path, I'm 33 as far as what I understand. And I have pretty much two questions when regarding to like my life path and then karma. So I am trying to continue to do research on my personal numerology and astrology. So can you maybe elaborate on the there's apparently there's a a full life path 33, and then there's a partial 33. So I was wondering if you could elaborate and like help me understand how you know which one you are when it comes to being a 33, and then also being my second question I guess I have is being a 33, or being one of those master numbers, either 11, 22, or 33. When when you kind of like when you first start out in life, it seemed like the theme for like these numbers is like you kind of start off with a little bit rockier, uh, a rockier start in life than other life paths. So I wonder if you could elaborate on that as well. Like, is that a common thing with like master numbers, or is that just something people say?
Yes. So there is something called as pure 33 and impure 33. Like let's say somebody is born. Okay, what is pure and impure 33? Basically, when it comes to the addition of numbers, you can add numbers in different ways and forms. Like let's say somebody is born on 17th September. Okay, so either it can get added up like 1 plus 7 plus 9 or 17 plus 9. So depending on how you vibrate, the additions could either be 17 plus 9 or 1 plus 7 plus 9. So the total of the birthday would change if you're adding it as 17 plus 9 or 1 plus 7 plus 9, right? So that is what matters when it comes to finding out pure and impure numbers. So somebody who is born on a date and month which can't be reduced to a single digit, like somebody who's born on a third August. Like for example, I'm born on a 7th July and my birth date is 7th July 1991. So the only possible way to add my birth date is 7 plus 7 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 1. That adds up to 33. Let's say I'm born on 7/7/1991. If somebody is born on a 16/7/1991, so you can either break down 1 plus 6 and then add 7 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 1, or you can also add 16 plus 7 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9. Sorry, I'm born 7/7/1990. I was just reading another birthday. I got confused. Yeah. So basically, you can either reduce the birth date to a single digit or you can add it up. So if you're born on a month and date which can't be reduced to a single digit any further, and if that particular birth date adds up to a number 33, then you would become a pure 33. Like for example, as I said, 7/7/1990 is a pure 33 because there is no other way to add the numbers other than 771990. But if somebody is born on a 16th July 1990, that would be a impure 33. Because if you add 16 plus 7 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9, it would end up adding up to 42, not a 33. So that is the pure and impure 33. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. So I'm a
And
one
mm,
seven 1996. So you can't
yeah,
short those numbers down, so it would be a pure
right.
addition. Perfect.
Mm,
Yes, sir.
okay. And then see, like when you master numbers are here to impact the society, and usually if you see people learn lessons when they go through struggles, like if somebody has had a comfortable life throughout, then the person won't be strong enough. So if you want to influence someone, then you have to mentally be strong, and you become tough but strong mentally only when you go through challenges. So I would say that is one of the reasons why a lot of master numbers have to go through problems in their life, early on in their life, so that they become stronger and they have this, they end up having this ability to influence people. That's my logic. That's why I think a lot of master numbers, especially 33s, have, you know, struggles in their early life. But yeah, it all depends on the other numbers. Uh, yeah, that's that's what I think about it.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Okay. Guys, I think as I keep speaking, I also go through DMs and I try to upload requests. So if I'm not making sense, if I'm repeating things or if I'm not explaining things, you can, feel free to ask again. And I'll just keep, multitasking. Okay, there's
Yeah,
another.
Ashwin, I have one question.
Hmm.
This is regarding 33s. Like you mentioned that 33s have a very rough childhood, right? So I just
Not
wanted to.
always, but most of the time. Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to know, like, when would a 33's life would change for his benefit? Like, whether it's a pure or an impure 33. Like, when do you think their life would change in their favor?
No, there's no one particular year. It depends on the cycles and it can depend on a lot of other things. There's no one particular age where you say, this particular life path would do really well. There's nothing like that. It
Okay,
depends on the cycles, it depends on other things.
okay,
You
okay,
can
got
say
it.
33, came into limelight or started influencing people at age 24, 25, and then you can see a lot of 33s who, you know, you know, did really well in their 50s, 60s. It doesn't depend only on the life path number. There's a lot more to it.
Okay, got it, got it. So it depends on their astrology also, right?
Yes, depends on astrology, cycles, a lot of other things.
Okay, okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. I think some of you joined newly, like they asked me to talk about Narendra Modi. I think I already finished talking about it. I'm not sure if I have enabled. Yeah, recording is enabled. But maybe I'll just give a brief overview again. So over the last few days, there has been a lot of conversation, especially on Vedic astrology Twitter. Like some people criticizing the date he has chosen for the inauguration of the Parliament, Indian Parliament, and some people say it's good. See, there's this confusion because all of us are looking from the perspective of astrology. But what I've seen is that Modi uses numerology way more than what people realize. Like right from the start of his tenure, like he's born on 17th September. 17 is 1 plus 7 that adds up to 8. 8 is the number of money. So he's born on an 8th day, 17, and he took the oath as a prime minister on 26th. That's the 8th day. And then one of the biggest thing he did was the demonetization, and he did that on an 8th day because 8 is the number of money, and he's also born on the 8th. And then the airstrike against the Pakistan, that was also done on an 8th day because he's born on 8th. And there are other reasons to it as well. Demonetization is related to money. Money is ruled by number 8. And then, when it comes to karma, hitting back at others, it's the number 8. And he chose the number 8 for, uh, to do the airstrike against the Pakistan. And then obviously he's born on 8th day and his focus has always been on financial growth and he took the oath on um I think it was 26th May 2014. That's the 8th day. So he has used numerology all along. This is just basic numerology. If you know some advanced stuff, you can also see a lot of other information in these dates. So it's important to understand what exactly is using. So if you try to analyze everything from the perspective of astrology, you're not going to get answers. So that's one thing I wanted to address. And I think the other thing I spoke about is with respect to karma. Your children, I mean, I've also seen a couple of videos with similar theme where they say that if you don't have children in this lifetime, it means this is your last lifetime. That's completely wrong. Only someone with no basic understanding of karma would say that. In fact, if you have children, you can resolve a lot of karmas just by having children. And this is the concept that in order to get liberated, you should not have, when I say you, your soul should not have any ties with other soul. That's true. And when I say any other soul, it does not mean only your children. It can be your parents, it can be your friends, it can be your relatives, it can be your loved ones. So that is why you'll have to develop the detachment. You can be along with others, and if you don't have the detachment, then it means you don't have the soul tie. So it's, I don't even, want to get into the depth of those topics because it's kind of bullshit. Like, you just to say that you have soul ties with your children, not with your parents, not with your spouses. It's just, not understanding the basic karma theory. Each and every person in this lifetime you meet, get into fight, love, whatever it is, whatever feeling you have, the moment you encounter some person, it is happening because of the karmic ties of the past. Depending on what your karma is, how strong it is, it shows for how long you would be in contact with that person. So all these are very basic karmic concepts, no matter which scriptures you go through. Depending on how, see, of course, there would be some differences, okay? There are a lot of religions, a lot of scriptures that talk about karma. There could be some differences, but there's a very basic theory that people don't even realize. But they start making videos talking about it. So I think these are the two things that I spoke about to start with. Okay, maybe I'll take up last two questions. Okay, just checking for some interesting questions. Lot of questions here. Oh,
Wait just a second.
okay, fine. Let me check my DMs, guys. If you have any questions, request to speak. I have way too many DMs. It's difficult to scroll through it. I don't want to answer any personal questions. But any generic questions on astrology, tarot, numerology, karma, whatever it is, we can discuss them. Okay, this is an interesting question. It's about the best time period. Okay, this would be more of astrology, advanced astrology. We want to talk about it. Yeah, see, astrology it's just like following a cosmic clock. Like, for example, how do you time things? You'll say that, okay, probably at 5:30 I have to attend this meeting, right? So based on the clock, based on the time, you decide what you're supposed to do. Astrology is more or less the same thing. Like, let's say, um, the you know the day is ruled by the moon energy, and the month is ruled by the sun energy, and the year is ruled by the Jupiter's energy. So depending on your sun sign, moon sign, and Jupiter sign, it's like understanding the year energy, day energy, and the month energy. And you also do the same thing depending on what you want to do. Like, let's say if you want to do any activities with respect to finances, like opening a bank account, or probably giving a sales pitch, or probably buying a new wallet purse, it's good to do on days when moon is transiting the sign of Taurus. But I would say it's good for 80% of the people because your personal chart would also matter. So it depends. I would say for most part, just like 8 is the number of money, depending on your dates, it can be really good or maybe not so good, depending on your birth date. The same way, Taurus in general is a good sign for financial activities, but there could be certain Taurus days which are not good depending on the sun sign, moon sign, and these things. So it's just like calendar. You look at probably when it's March, then probably you file your taxes. When probably in December it's a festive season, right? You just look at the month and you know what you're supposed to do in that particular month, right? The same way you look at the sun signs and you decide, oh, for this next 30 days, what's the best thing to do? You look at the moon sign and you decide what's good for the next 2 days. And you look at the Jupiter sign and you decide what's good for the next 1 year. So it's as simple as that. Because the entire electional astrology, where you choose the right time for certain events, is a very complicated thing. because there are way too many concepts to consider, to decide what's the right thing to do at this particular moment. I would say keep it simple. I would give more weightage to the signs, the planets, and the days of the week. And if you just look into it, that's more than sufficient, I would say. Okay, I don't see any more interesting questions in my DM. I think a lot of them I've already covered in my tweets. Just scrolling through all my DMs. I'm not taking up any personal astrology or numerology questions. I think some of these concepts I've already covered, and yeah, don't see anything interesting in my DMs. Then yeah, probably we can end our spaces today. Again, if you have any questions, you can send me a DM. Interesting, I might try the thread, or I might even have another spaces. Maybe we can, discuss. Yeah. So thank you all for joining. Have a good day ahead. See you all. Bye bye.